I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me. So I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends and family to come out to the Amaran Arena, February 13th.
Sir, I did not pack my bag.
Well, we can get that all straightened out after the fact.
BMF Immortal, and it's cool. Like sometimes we switch perspectives, so it's from a law enforcement perspective.
Oh wow!
Instead of it being from the, you know, the actual hustler side, of the aspirational side, just
you know what I mean? That's right. You know, I never done that, man. I don't even know where they come up with that, man. And then the guy's a rap, man. He's been working for the feds for 2 years now. You know what I'm saying? Cooperate. So you can look at my paperwork, man. My paperwork. If I was writing it, it'd be on CNN. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
They ain't telling nobody. Because if you're telling, you can't even look forward to going home.
Okay, so 50 Cent blasted Lil Meech and posted video footage and evidence of him allegedly snitching on his security. The security, who ended up taking the fall for everything, said that he was asleep when Lil Meech threw everything in his...
The empire that once stood as an unshakable force in hip-hop has now been ripped apart from the inside. Reports are flying that the Black Mafia family, known simply as BMF, has officially fractured. And not because of outside enemies or government takedowns, but because of a brutal betrayal between father and son. The streets are buzzing with claims that Big Meech, the legendary kingpin turned cultural icon, has disowned his own blood, his son Lil Meech, over an alleged $10 million theft, 10 million gone. And the fallout is shaking the legacy of BMF to its very core. Insiders close to the situation say Big Meech made it crystal clear that he could no longer stand by Lil Meech after uncovering shady financial moves tied directly to his son. Money that was supposed to be fueling the family's name, the brand and its future, was allegedly drained, rerouted, and mishandled under Lil Meech's watch. What makes it worse is that whispers about financial chaos tied to BMF had been circulating for months. People were already questioning whether the empire was being run as tight as it once was. Then boom, here came the bombshell. Claims that Lil Meech had been using his father's legendary name not just to honor him, but to secure secret side deals, personal endorsements, and business opportunities. And instead of bringing those benefits back to the table for the team, the family, the ones who helped build BMF from nothing, he allegedly cut them out. For Big Meech, who built an empire on loyalty, that wasn't just bad business, that was the ultimate betrayal. The situation hit headlines even harder because of one man who's been circling this storm for a long time, the 50 Cent. For years, 50 has been dropping hints, firing off comments, and exposing what he claims is financial mismanagement and shady dealings within BMF. He's been mocked for it, accused of stirring trouble just for the clout. But now, fans are saying 50 looks vindicated. Social media has exploded with comments like, 50 tried to warn him, and BMF is falling apart right in front of us. What was once seen as trolling now looks more like prophecy. And for the fans who watched the rise of BMF and the way it defined a generation of hustlers, dreamers, and hip-hop loyalists, this public implosion feels like a tragedy. Then came the words that shook everything. Big Meech himself allegedly made a statement so blunt, so cold, that it sent shivers through hip-hop. The loyalty ain't there no more. We're done. Let that sink in. Loyalty, the code that built BMF, the code that kept men silent and united, even while serving decades behind bars. That loyalty is now broken between father and son. For an empire that once symbolized power, unity, and brotherhood, the fracture between Big Meech and Lil Meech is devastating. It's not just family drama, it's a dynasty collapsing in real time. Meanwhile, 50 Cent hasn't let up for a second. On the sidelines, he's been relentless in highlighting every crack in the BMF story. At the same time, Rick Ross, another heavyweight with massive BMF-related deals, is keeping his name tied to the brand for his own reasons. And in the middle of all this chaos, Lil Meech himself has stayed dead silent. No responses, no interviews, no attempts to clear his name. But silence in hip-hop? That often speaks louder than words, and fans are filling in the blanks with their own theories. The tension exploded to new levels when reports surfaced that Big Meech sent 50 Cent a direct threat, a text message warning him to stop talking about his son or face serious consequences. That's not just rap beef, That's personal, and it shows how far this situation has spiraled. The timing of the threat couldn't have been worse either, because it came right after 50 Cent dropped a bombshell video, body cam footage, that allegedly shows Lil Meech selling out one of his own longtime friends to the police. In that footage, a tense traffic stop plays out. Both Lil Meech and his associate are detained. While the officers search, Lil Meech sits in the back of a patrol car. At one point, after a firearm is discovered, Meech can be heard asking the officers, "Did you discover the other stuff?" Those 6 words raised eyebrows instantly, because instead of staying silent, instead of letting things play out, his careless question pushed the officers to dig even deeper. Suddenly, the search intensified, suspicions grew, and the entire situation became far worse. What should have been a simple firearm possession case spiraled into something much more dangerous, all because of what came out of Lil Meech's own mouth. But here's the part that makes it even darker. The friend who ended up arrested during that stop, the same one whose life was turned upside down, has now come forward. He didn't just share his side of the story, he brought receipts. Known on Instagram as 3Luck, he posted a series of photos, captions, and of course the same body cam footage that had already gone viral. The internet didn't have to imagine the betrayal. They could see it with their own eyes. 3Luck painted the picture vividly. He and Lil Meech had been close, brothers. They hung out, they rode together, they built trust. But that night, that trust shattered. In his post, 3Luck claimed that Lil Meech snitched, plain and simple, that he let his so-called brother take the fall for both the gun and the substances in the car while he sat there quietly, making comments that only made the cops dig deeper. In one caption, his words were raw. "Reason I got to go do Fed time. See this? I hate fake dudes like Lil Meech. My trial of life supposed to be real, but do BMF immortal." The message wasn't just about charges, it was about betrayal. And 3Luck didn't stop there. He turned his fire on Big Meech too, accusing him of raising someone weak, calling Lil Meech lame. To him, it wasn't just about a gun or some drugs. It was about honor, about trust, about the code they all swore to live by. A code that he says Lil Meech tossed aside without hesitation. He pointed out that while he was losing money, fighting charges, and spending heavy cash on lawyers and bonds, Lil Meech was out there keeping his image polished, posting online, living the life, reportedly lost in pills and distractions. The pain in his words was obvious. He said the betrayal cost him not just money, but precious time with his child, years of his life that he'll never get back. And he connected it all to one of Big Meech's old sayings, death before dishonor. But to 3Luck, those words now felt hollow. Empty slogans from a family that no longer lived by the code it preached. So far, Lil Meech hasn't said a word in response. Silence, denial, no effort to set the record straight. But one man wasn't about to let the story die down, 50 Cent. The king of trolling was already waiting in the wings. The moment 3Luck's post started gaining traction, 50 jumped in with his trademark ruthlessness. First, he reposted a screenshot from power star Michael Rainey Jr.'s Instagram, where Rainey clowned Lil Meech for his choices. 50 added his own sting in the caption, praising Michael for staying clean, focused, and sharp, pointing out the contrast with Lil Meech, who he mocked for wasting money on drugs and designer jeans. But 50 wasn't done, not even close. Hours later, he doubled down by re-uploading the infamous body cam footage. This time, he didn't just post the video, he paired it with screenshots of 3Luck's accusations, hammering the point home. His caption cut straight to the bone. "How you going to throw your strap and drugs on your man's lap while he's asleep? Like, here, this yours LOL." The internet went crazy. Fans flooded the comments. Some laughed, some were shocked, some were furious. But one thing was clear, 50 had hit a nerve. And then, just when the buzz was peaking, 50 came back for round 3. Another post, another shot. This time he shared a photo from a BMF performance, mocking Lil Meech yet again. His words? Savage. He reminded fans of Lil Meech's past mistakes getting caught with a gun at the airport, panicking, fumbling, and then compared it to the betrayal caught on body cam. The message was clear. Lil Meech, in 50's eyes, was no longer the heir to a legacy. He was a liability. For months now, 50 Cent has been tearing into the father-son duo publicly, and it looks like Big Meech himself has reached his breaking point. The legendary figure who built BMF on loyalty, power, and respect has now allegedly cast out his own son. And if 50 keeps applying pressure, this feud could spiral into something truly ugly, a fight not just about money or betrayal, but about the very survival of a legacy that once symbolized the pinnacle of brotherhood in hip-hop culture. The streets are watching, fans are watching, and the internet is eating up every second. The Black Mafia family, once untouchable, is now dangling by a thread. The question is, can this empire survive betrayal from the inside, or is this the final chapter of a dynasty that once seemed unstoppable? The airport jab wasn't just some random dig, it connected back to a messy chapter in Lil Meech's life that many fans still remembered all too well. Back in 2022, a leaked video surfaced of his arrest at the airport, and it wasn't a small slip-up either. TSA agents discovered an unloaded firearm tucked into his suitcase, and here's the kicker, he didn't even have a license for it. For someone who was still carving out his place in the industry, that arrest already cast cracks in the image Lil Meech was trying to build. He wasn't just Big Meech's son anymore, he was stepping into the public spotlight on his own, and moments like this made people wonder if he was truly ready for it. But when that old arrest video got paired up with his brand new body cam footage, the perception of Lil Meech spiraled even lower. It wasn't just about a gun anymore, it was about the way he handled himself under pressure, and the way those moments stacked together made him look sloppy, unprepared, and maybe even entitled. The wildest part about that airport video wasn't even the gun itself, it was his defense. Instead of owning up or at least giving a halfway convincing explanation, Lil Meech, who was 23 at the time, bizarrely argued that he wasn't legally an adult. Like, imagine standing in front of TSA agents and trying to claim age as a way out of accountability. As if saying, I'm basically still a kid, would erase the problem of having a firearm in your bag. The excuse was laughable to some and embarrassing to others, but one thing was clear, it made him look even worse. That moment alone could have been a wake-up call, a chance to reflect and take responsibility, but instead it added fuel to the fire. And then came the classic celebrity move, the one fans have seen over and over again when stars find themselves cornered. He played the "Do you know who I am?" card. Lil Meech loudly revealed his name, trying frantically to convince TSA agents that his fame should somehow shift the outcome in his favor. The attempt backfired instantly. The agents didn't care about his name, his role on BMF, or his bloodline. In fact, the desperate flex of celebrity influence only added to his humiliation. To viewers watching, it painted him as someone who couldn't handle real-world pressure without trying to lean on privilege. And of course, if there's one man who thrives off celebrity meltdowns, it's 50 Cent. This is exactly the type of material he feasts on. With the body cam clip already sparking conversations about betrayal, this resurfaced airport fiasco gave 50 premium ammunition. Instagram became his playground once again, and he wasted no time dragging Lil Meech through the mud with his trademark trolling. To 50, it wasn't just funny, but it was strategic. Every embarrassing clip became a chess piece, and he played the game better than anyone else. But the story didn't stop at 50's jokes. The situation escalated when Big Meech himself finally decided enough was enough. After watching 50 mock not only his son, but also taking direct shots at him as a father, Big Meech stepped into the spotlight with a rare public response. He posted a set of photos featuring himself and Lil Meech, captioned with a defiant message, "Nothing can stop us." We all the way up on the surface, it looked like a classic show of strength. A father standing shoulder to shoulder with his son against outside attacks. Fans saw loyalty, resilience, and the bond of family. But behind the curtain, whispers began to circulate. Rumors suggested that Big Meech might have quietly reached out to one of 50's longtime associates. Some believed it wasn't just about showing love publicly, but about easing tensions privately, or maybe even delivering a warning. Whether it was an olive branch or a veiled threat, one thing was certain: the feud had grown much bigger than trolling on Instagram. It had turned into a high-stakes chess game between two powerful figures with deep histories, and neither looked ready to fold. The whispers grew louder, with insiders claiming that the private message from Big Meech carried a sharp undertone. "Tell him to stop playing with my son, or else." Big Meech was never the type to issue threats publicly, so the possibility that he had done it behind the scenes only amplified how tense the situation had become. People close to the industry even started murmuring that some producers of the BMF series were quietly distancing themselves, worried that this beef might spill over from TV drama into real-world consequences. And that says hello when Hollywood starts pulling back. It usually means the fire is hotter than anyone wants to admit. To really understand how it got here, you have to rewind. 50 Cent didn't just wake up one morning and decide to come for Lil Meech. The tension had roots, and those roots stretched back to earlier this year when Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross. That's right, Rick Ross, one of 50's longest running and most notorious rivals. To 50, this was an unforgivable move. Almost instantly, he retaliated by painting Big Meech as a snitch. He blasted Instagram with posts accusing Meech of reducing his prison sentence by cooperating with authorities. He even posted screenshots of what he claimed were official court documents shared through his associate Tammy Cowens to back up his narrative. But here's where it gets messy. Nothing in the actual record suggests Big Meech cooperated. In reality, he had served 27 years out of a 30-year sentence, and the reduction came from changes in federal sentencing guidelines, not from snitching. Big Meech himself addressed it head-on in a rare jail interview, shutting the rumors down. He was blunt, saying if he had ever cooperated, it would have been national news long ago. Still, the accusation stuck. Once a rumor like that takes flight in hip-hop, it's hard to kill. Fans split into camps. Some argued that after nearly 3 decades behind bars, 50 had no business calling Big Meech a rat. Others sided with 50, saying that aligning with Rick Ross was the ultimate betrayal, especially after 50 had supported Meech's family financially during his incarceration and even gave Lil Meech his acting break in BMF. To them, this wasn't about paperwork, it was about loyalty. And in the world of hip-hop, loyalty and betrayal are the two forces that can ignite wars. 50 wasn't done either. He kept hinting that the real reason behind Big Meech's alleged betrayal wasn't Rick Ross at all, it was envy. According to 50, the tension boiled down to jealousy. He suggested that Big Meech grew uncomfortable with how close Lil Meech had become to him. In the 50s, Lil Meech trusted him more than his own father, and that was something Big Meech couldn't handle. To make it worse, 50 went public with claims that Big Meech actually cut off his own son, financially out of spite. He didn't stop there. That 50 painted himself as the true father figure in Lil Meech's life. He claimed that while Big Meech pushed his son toward reckless behavior, spending wildly, experimenting with substances, he was the one stepping in to save him. In one shocking post, 50 revealed that during the filming of BMF, Lil Meech had a serious breakdown from substance abuse, and he, not Big Meech, was the one who arranged rehab. He even wrote, "I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Meech's relationship. I'm telling Meech I don't want him doing drugs. He telling him he used to do X, like it's cool. I tell Meech to chill, stop spending all his money. He telling him how much money he blew. People don't know I had to send Meech to rehab." That post flipped the narrative completely. Suddenly 50 wasn't just trolling. He was claiming to be the savior, the mentor, the real protector of Lil Meech. And whether fans believed him or not, it turned the drama into something much deeper. It wasn't just about petty Instagram posts anymore. It was about family, reputation, and who really had influence over the next generation. On set, controversy seemed to follow Lil Meech everywhere. Reports surfaced of tension during filming, with chaotic moments like a producer's blood pressure spiking during a weapons test, people throwing up, and whispers of substances found in vehicles tied to the cast. It was messy, and to critics, it looked like Lil Meech was squandering the golden opportunity 50 had handed him. After all, 50 had invested heavily, even paying for Lil Meech's acting classes, guiding him into Hollywood and shaping him into the star of a hit series. But instead of building stability, reports claimed Meech blew through $5 million in just 3 years, splurging on luxury cars, jewelry, and designer clothing instead of investing in his future. For many, that was the ultimate disappointment. 50 hadn't just opened doors, he had given structure, support, and mentorship. To see it squandered so quickly felt like a slap in the face, and it gave even more fire to his criticism. But through all of this, one lingering question remains. Did 50 go too far this time? Was calling Big Meech a rat simply because of his ties to Rick Ross a low blow built on shaky ground? Or was it just another brutal round of trolling that spiraled into something nobody could control? Whatever the answer, the stakes are clear. Reputations are on the line, threats are being whispered, and the feud has crossed from Instagram captions into real-life consequences. And as it stands, there's no sign of the storm calming anytime soon.
Do you have anything else on you at this point?
No, I promise I don't.
Okay.
Just a hacker, sir.
No, I understand.
Please. Man.
Do you have a concealed weapons permit or anything like that?
No, I don't, sir. They left that in my bag. My little brother's outside waiting for me, sir. I promise you, sir, that's not mine.
Okay.
I have security guards, sir. I'm an actor.
Okay.
See how much jewelry I have on me? I went to private school. I'm a good kid, man.
He's saying that he's an actor and he has private security guards.
Does he have security weapons permission?
No, he doesn't have a.
Listen, sir, I just want to tell you.
His ID and everything's supposedly in the bag.
Listen, sir, I want to tell you 1 second. I fly every week, sir. I have security guards, and and we'll rush into the airport. I have a premiere. I'm an actor. That's why I have a big chain. Me and 50 Cent have a TV show. Sir, this will ruin my life.
If you've been following this breakdown and want more shocking updates on the drama, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more explosive stories that shake hip-hop culture to its core.